So I realize it's a lot hotter in many other states, but it's currently 100 degrees here in my front yard, in my little town. It's hot, y'all. Hey Flute family, what's going on? It's your girl Vivian. Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to do a whole different video on how I clean my flute. Now this is a question that I get often asked, and so I thought, why not answer it today? So today we're going to go over this, and be sure if you haven't already, go ahead and like this video, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. We are at, I think, 4 or 5 subscribers now, and my deal still stays on. If we get to 10 subscribers, I will do 10 random facts that you do not know about me. So please continue to subscribe. So anyway, let's get started with this video. Okay, so I just got done practicing. I've been practicing for about an hour and a half, maybe 2, coming up on 2. So I am nice and dirty, and I got some spit in there. So I'm going to show you how I clean my flute. Now everyone does this a little bit different, but this is the way I do it and the way I find it most easiest for me. So I'm going to show you. Okay, first I'm going to start off, and I'm going to take off the foot joint here. I'm just going to gently unscrew that. Okay, let me go over what I have here. So, you know the cleaning rod that comes with your flute. It's just a simple rod. Some are plastic, some are metal, some are wood. Mine is wood. What I have here, you usually can put the rag through here and like swab it out. I have something a little bit different. So you take the end where your head joint measurement is, and I have this little capper here, and it's just a little white, sorry, I don't know why I'm going there, it's just a little white cap, and I'm putting it at the end of this foot joint, or the rod, like this. Okay, now this is not a sponsored video, but I found this, and this has been such a lifesaver, and I love it. So if you're not familiar, there's a flute company called Carolyn Nussbaum Music Company, and their website is fluteforyou.com. I'll be sure and link that below so you can go check them out. It's a super cool store. They have these are super absorbent swabs. So what you do is it has an opening in the front, and it comes with 2 different sizes of these caps. So depending what size of rod you have, you just simply take this and you slide this right down into the swab, and then it has a loop on it, and you take it and you just simply loop it through your little slot right there, and it's on here. And you may ask, now how can I wash this? How does this work? All you got to simply do is you take and undo it, take it off, go to your kitchen or wherever, get some hot water, as much as hot you can stand, and some Dawn dish soap or regular dish soap, whatever kind of dish soap you use. I wouldn't recommend like super fragrant ones. I use Dawn dish soap. Take and you rinse this out, and you wash it with your dish soap, and then just hang it up to dry, and that's all you got to do to it. There's no washing machine, nothing. You just wash it out every so often, and it comes out brand new. This one is a little over a year old, and it's no tears, nothing. So it is a great investment. I recommend this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my foot joint, which I took off my flute, and I'm going to take and just run this swab through here like this. I'm just going to take and twist gently through there, and I'm collecting any spit or anything that may have got down in that foot joint, and I'm looking down the barrel to see if I see any left in there, and there's nothing in there, so we are good to go. So that is my foot joint. Okay, next I'm going to do the body of the flute. So I already took my head joint off, and I carefully twisted it off. you need to be really careful with the ribs of your flute, not to really squeeze down on them, because it will bend your keys and your ribs of your flute, and it'll be just really bad. So be careful when taking your flute apart or putting your flute together, not to hurt your ribs of your flute. So I'm looking down here and I'm seeing quite a bit of spit. So again, I'm just going to take this, and it's going about to this key right here. It's going about to right there, and I'm just going to take and gently swab through here like this, and then I'm going to take and turn the flute around to the other side and gently swab this way, and it's coming up well past where I already swabbed. And just do that. I'm checking inside, and we are dry. And this, guys, is completely dry. Even though I had spit in there, it's completely dry. It's all absorbed. Okay, I'm gonna put that to the side. Next, we got my head joint. Okay, and let's see, there's a lot of moisture in there. I hope you can see that. Okay, so what I do is, again, the same thing, just same process. I go in here and I gently swab. Now, be sure, I have learned this and did not realize this. Do not go in here and bang the end of your flute like this with this swab, because what will happen, your alignment on your flute will get out of whack, and you can experience some tuning problems, and your flute will not be in line. So when you go in there, you can still swab, but don't bang on the end of your flute, because it will misalign your crown. So I'm just taking this, and I'm going in there gently, and I'm all the way to the end, and I'm not banging, but I'm just gently twisting around. I'm pulling it out, and then going back, careful not to bang, and twisting again. And we're looking, and look at how shiny that, and see, I have gotten everything out of there. So is that I think that's my finger reflecting off. Yep. So everything is out of there. Okay. Now you may ask, is this soaking wet? No, not at all. It is slightly damp. It is not soaking wet. It's just mainly on the end here, but everything else is dry. So when I get done with this, I usually just stick it in a little section facing upward where it can dry. Now you may ask, okay, how do you get all the oil and stuff off of your flute? And I'm going to show you that next. So this is another Carolyn Nussbaum product. This is a polishing cloth, and it's got, let me see if I still have the tag. I don't think I have the tag, but it is a polishing cloth, and it's got some kind of something like material in it, and it's got it's microfiber, and then it's got some kind of powder. I'll look and I'll be sure and I'll mention that in here. Anyway, I got two different ones. So this one I've had for quite a while, and then this one is fairly new. So I'm going to show you these. They say they typically last 9 months. I cannot get 9 months out of these. I think because every time I play my flute is sterling silver, I wipe it down, and so this is constantly being used. But I think it's just depending on how much you play your flute, will tell you like how often you can get out of these. But I like to replace these often, and these are not washable. So once they get all gross looking, like this one's starting to get a little gross, I throw them out and I get a new one. So I'm going to start with the foot joint again, and I'm going to show you the difference between the treated one. Well, this is semi-treated, it's old, and then the very treated one. Okay, so I'm going to just take, again, be careful, do not clean the ribs. Have a professional clean, do the deep clean of the ribs and everything. Do not clean your ribs. So I'm going to take, and I'm just going to gently clean the body of the flute. Again, I'm not using any adhesive, nothing. Do not use any kind of chemicals. Do not give your flute a bath. That is so many questions that I get asked. Can you give your flute a bath? Absolutely not. Leave all that to the professionals. Go have it professionally done. I do mine once a year. Sorry, I had a message. I do mine once a year, but do not mess with your flute or try to give it a bath, because you have springs and pads and corks in there, and any kind of moisture or residue, like any kind of Clorox or alcohol or anything like that will ruin your pads. So do not use any kind of cleaner, nothing on your flute. Again, go have them professionally do it if you think your flute needs it and needs alignment. They are the experts in doing that. I do not recommend doing that at all. So I'm just basically going around here, and I have the keys, and I'm just going around in between the keys very carefully, and then the top of the keys very carefully, staying away from the rib area. Just wiping those down. Okay, so you can see it's very shiny. Now I'm going to show you on the head joint what I mean for is like the semi-treated versus full treated. Okay, so my body of my flute is sterling silver, but I have a gold lip plate, and it was totally different, and I really like it now because it gives it a whole different richer sound. Now, as you can see, I got some like lip crusties on there and everything else, and that's because I always, when I'm playing, my lips get really dry. After I get done playing, I apply chapstick constantly to my lips, and sometimes it gets on there, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's just like dried spit that gets on my flute. So this is the only part that I would recommend using something to clean it. What I usually do is, see how I got this little bit of, this is just dried spit. This is not oily at all, oily residue. I just take, so weird, I just get some saliva on my flute and just take my rag and wipe it down. Like this. Okay. Now, if you have someone that plays your flute, which I don't recommend in this day and age, have your own flute, have your own instrument. Don't be playing other people's instruments, especially with COVID. Or you feel like, you've been sick and you want to really get your flute clean, you can take very little, just a little, on a tissue of rubbing alcohol, straight rubbing alcohol, just very little, like 1 drop. And you can take and use it around the lip plate and on the inside here if you're sick or you think you really need to clean. But that's the only part you can use that on, is right here on the lip plate and then here in the hole. Okay, so as you can see, it's pretty shiny now from this semi-treated rag. I want to show you what it does with this really treated rag, because this is brand new rag. I'm just taking again and just rubbing back and forth and going over the crown, going down, going around, especially getting down here where it's the different color metal, because you sometimes get spit build up, or we'll get like a black type of stuff from just spit and wear and tear. So really getting down in there. Okay, now I'm going to show you something here. You can tell when this is really working, and let me show you. Look how shiny that is. It's like super shiny. So I always like a shiny flute and super nice looking. All right, this is what this treated cloth does for your flute. it takes, I don't know if you can see that. I'll show you the back side because I've used this on my alto flute. It takes and gets all the oil and dirt off of your flute, and it's totally safe. Let me show you the back side. This is better. This was from my alto flute, but it gets all the dirt, grime, anything that can hurt your flute, it gets it immediately off. Okay, so that's why I like to replace these, and you can feel the difference. This one's like a more of a felty, this one's more like feels treated kind of. Again, you know, there's that age difference. This one's older than this one's fairly new, so you just gotta feel, and you can be able to tell when it needs replaced. Okay, lastly, I'm going to do the body of the flute. So again, as I stress, do not put any chemicals on your flute. We're going to be careful for our ribs, again, not to grab a hold of them or anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my rag here, and I'm going to start from the top where the barrel is, and I'm going to stick this down here because you get a lot of that grime and spit buildup, and I'm just twisting it around. I'm not touching the ribs at all. I am above the ribs and just twisting. Let's see, not too bad. So we got a little bit out of it. Then I'm going to take the flute and I'm going to brace it up against my body, not touching any of the ribs again. And I'm just going to go down the flute, rubbing the body of the flute around the keys very gently on top of the keys. And I am not getting anywhere near the ribs that have the springs. And I am just going down here. And this does take some practice. This did not happen overnight. I can't tell you how many times I practiced on my student flute, and I would drop it, or I couldn't figure out a way to do it. So it does take practice, but just keep on practicing it and it will come. Main thing is, do not get in a hurry with this because this is very delicate with all the ribs and parts. So we're doing that, and then the end I'm also going to take and rub and get any excess off. Okay, and see, that was from just the body, and that's just finger oil. And even though you may play with clean hands and stuff, when you go to play, your body still produces oil and everything, so it just happens. I mean, I make sure my hands are clean every time I go to play, but it still will pop up and have some dirt. So I'm putting my flute back together. I got my rags here, and gently putting it back together like this. Perfect. So we have it back. Now I'm going to take this rag, and I want to show you where I store my flute because I have a special spot. Once it's all clean and done, we are going to move it over. Okay, so if I'm going somewhere, I'll have my flute in a case, but when I'm here at my home, I keep my flute here on this peg. So I'm going to gently take and press it and put it on this peg like this, and I'll let go of it like that. And then to protect it, I have this cover, and I am just gently going to slide this on top of my flute, and this protects it from any dust or debris or anything else. And that is how I clean my flute. Then over here we have my alto flute that's covered, and we have my piccolo down here that's covered. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and find it very helpful and useful. This is, again, just my opinion on how I clean my flute. So be sure and tune in for more videos like this. And thank y'all for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.